What if the house you moved into carried a secret so dark, even your webcam couldn't hide it? At first, it was just flickering lights and doors opening by themselves. But when a 2-year-old pointed to the corner and cried out, "The boogeyman," the truth became impossible to ignore. And what my online girlfriend revealed about that house still keeps me awake at night. The following story happened to me a few years ago. I haven't told many people about it because almost no one believes me. This was back in 2008. We had just returned from the United States, where we had lived for many years. Here in Mexico, we didn't have a house of our own. So one of my uncles offered to lend us a house that once belonged to another aunt I never met. My uncle told us that this aunt had passed away a few years earlier and that the house had been unoccupied ever since. Inside the house, the atmosphere felt strange. As soon as I stepped in, I felt a heavy weight pressing down on my body. Something I couldn't explain, something I had never felt before. At the time, I didn't pay much attention to it. I thought maybe it was just exhaustion. Days passed, and we settled in. But that strange energy lingered. Whenever I stepped out into the yard, I felt free, as if a burden had been lifted. The moment I walked back inside, the weight returned. As time went on, the lights in the house began to flicker on and off by themselves. I told myself it was just faulty wiring. Since the house had been abandoned for years, sometimes one of the bedroom doors would open or close on its own. Again, I tried to stay rational. I blamed it on the wind, especially since the door didn't even have a proper lock. But at night, the energy grew stronger, and it became nearly impossible to sleep. At sunrise, I would immediately step out into the yard, just to shake it off. Since my parents worked night shifts, I was usually alone at night. I'd turn on my computer and chat with my online girlfriend. We'd use the webcam and spend hours talking. I never told her what was happening in that house. I didn't want her to think I was just being scared or superstitious. One day, my sister came to visit with her kids. I gave her the bedroom I usually slept in and spent the night in the living room. Suddenly, my 2-year-old nephew began crying. He pointed at a corner of the room, and in broken words, he kept saying, "The boogeyman." Months later, my uncle asked us to leave the house. He gave us 30 days to move out. My sister offered to let us stay at her place with her husband and kids, so we packed up and left. A few days after moving in with my sister, I got online and chatted with my girlfriend again. I told her that we had moved out of the old house. What she told me next froze my blood and kept me awake for nights. She said, "I didn't tell you this before because I didn't want to scare you. But I'm glad you left that house. I have a gift. I can see spirits. And every time we used the webcam while you were in that house, I saw something behind you. A dark presence. It was a woman. That woman died in that house and she didn't want you there." I was stunned. I had never told her whose house it was or that my aunt had died there. Suddenly, everything made sense. Why my nephew cried and pointed at that corner, saying the boogeyman was there. We thought leaving that house meant leaving the darkness behind. But sometimes, spirits don't stay trapped within 4 walls. Sometimes they follow. So if you ever feel a weight pressing on your chest, or see shadows in the corner of your room, ask yourself, did something decide to come home with you?